Hey kids, it's Arp. This is the ArpCast, somewhat live from the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains in eastern Tennessee. Today we talk about different things, weird people, and maybe unicorns and rainbows. We read poetry and short stories too. Most of all, we keep it real. This is the ArpCast, starting now.
Welcome to ArpCast number 54. It's Monday, February 19, 2018. It's President's Day here in the United States. It's bank holiday. It's a day to unwind. It's a day to eat. That's right. That's right. And we're doing it right here in the United States and all over the world. We just added ArpCast interviews, had a great interview with young gentleman, Kate and Chase, over the weekends. We're doing some ArpCast live stuff every now and again, just when I feel like it. That's right. So I want you to go out and I want you to promise me something. I want you to subscribe. It's not, look, I'm not forcing you, right? So we're shooting for 100 by May 4, 2018 on YouTube, but you know, we're everywhere. YouTube, iTunes, Instagram, Facebook. Not a lot of action there. I don't know what... I'm like a bad rash. I think that's what I've determined. I'm like a bad rash. But every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can scratch that rash. Anyway, so the question came up today. Was asked about the law of conservation of mass. Conservation, sorry. Not conversation. It was a good conversation, but it was about the conservation of mass. And the basic concept is, in a closed system, nothing is either destroyed or created, right? It's always kind of remains the same, in balance. So, question from the passenger seat. So, when babies are created, they come from nothing, right? I mean, they just, boom, nothing. They just show up. They're just born. Right? My baby is so cute, I gotta say. Anyway, very proud of her today. Well, anyway, after getting past all the grossness and all that, I thought, and you know, that's a painful thing. Thinking hurts, and the way I do it, it's a tortured existence. It takes energy, it gives away energy. So I don't know about it, whether that's an equal proportion or not, but there it is. So law of conservation of mass. I'm going to give you two names, Mikhail Lomonosov and Antoine Lavoisier. Lavoisier. So the former, the former Russian and the latter French. Lavoisier was executed by the guillotine. And they lived, I don't know, maybe 50 or 80 years apart. Both were thinking kind of the same thoughts about this concept. And it kind of harkens back to what the Greeks, Greek philosophy held. And look, I did a little bit of research on this, so I'm coming at this somewhat as a newbie, but, certainly studied it way, way back in the day. That nothing comes from nothing, this concept. It's pretty, we're going to get into a lot of philosophy here when we get into this conversation. So, but it's kind of an interesting thought that, just the notion that what's been has always been, and it will always be, right? It kind of moves around, like a bad hot dog or something. And so I got to thinking, and so I went outside of that. I can understand kind of the physical elements, right? I don't know. You have sand. It goes out into the ocean, and the tide swirls it around. But it's out there. That same grain of sand that was on the beach is out there, and it slowly erodes. But then it becomes smaller and smaller, and then it builds up, so forth. And there's this cycle. But what about things like original thought, right? So was there a thought out there that kind of someone created? It's floating around, and I somehow managed to capture it in my dream catcher, right? That it sort of landed on me. So this conservation of mass, I get, absolutely appreciate it. Like original song, right? I mean, every song, assuming you're not, sort of infringing on someone's copyright, each note, each tempo, each rhythm, all the combination thereof, different, right? It's something you created from nothing, from a feeling, from a sensation, from a desire to project, to express what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're wanting. Original poetry, words, right? I mean, the words have been created by someone, somewhere, many years ago, decades, millennia ago. But still, the orchestration and choreography of words and tempo and meter, original creation. Where did that come from? So I can appreciate those words, the essence of those words. But what about a fragrance? What about the flower? I think a biochemist or a chemist would say, well, the fragrance came from something in the earth that is the result of this conservation of mass law, right? The soil pulled it together up through the root system, and then somehow through some sort of biochemical reaction, you have fragrance that hits your nose and you sense it in your brain, and you are just a creation of the food and the water and the sunlight and everything else that your mother took in that then created you. So to answer my daughter's question directly, that's the creation and the sort of sustenance going forward. So the air we breathe, the skin we carry, the nose that goes to the ends of the earth to find that perfect fragrance, well beyond these sort of mental, philosophical, and transient matters we're talking about. But I think there's something special here, that you have a real opportunity, I have a real opportunity to create, to look inside, to have conversation with other people and create something new that's beyond matter and mass and that which we see and can touch and feel physically. But there are things that evoke a sensation of happiness or anger or fear, whatever it might be. But curiosity, constantly renewed, you can get more and more and more and more of it. Love is refreshed. So I was thinking about this, it made my head hurt. Now my head's really on fire. It's blow off my head. It dies, but it can grow beyond a limit, right? I mean, what's to stop the amount of love we possess collectively? More from less. Not this concept of less is more. I get that. I do. I mean, we're trying to do less is more all the time at work and in public sector finance and the like. Less is more. As for the physical, I do sense we are stuck. A volcano, a shoreline, sculptor's clay becomes a vessel, and one day clay again. But there is opportunity for creation and no death in other areas. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Well, kids, you know who this is. It's ARP, damn it. You have been listening to the ArpCast, a sensational, fact-filled experience meant to change the world. I'm happy you stopped by. Our sponsors, those greedy, wily bastards, thank you too. Make sure to write. This has been the ArpCast. I'm out.